All right. Gonna be smoking a cigar today. It's Tuesday, and we're gonna be smoking. Let me know if you can hear me. All right, Aganorsa. Today we are smoking the Aganorsa Leaf Cig. All right. So the sticker on the side of the box is 032019. So at the time of doing this, it's looking like it's 3 to 3 and then 3 to 4. 3 to 3, 3 to 3. So a little over 2 years old, this cigar. March of 2019. Here we are in April, almost the end of April 2019. So, anywho, love the presentation on this. Now, I've been smoking a lot of Aganorsa leaf because I find it to be well, I find it to be okay to smoke as far as it goes for a New World cigar. And anyway, I'm smoking one cigar today. Nobody's on. Doesn't matter. I'm smoking it anyway. And then when we're done, we're done. But yeah, I like the format. I like these. Actually, I've been smoking a lot of the other ones, and then I just got a box of these Corona Gordas, and I definitely like this size the best. All right, let's turn that off. Turn that off. Okay, put that there. Wrap that around. I just love it. It like people bust in and bust out. It says 3 concurrent viewers, so there's got to be someone on. I'll light this thing up, and once someone says something, let's do that. So I might be sitting here all day with this cigar. I don't know. So we shall see. But yeah, Corona Gorda 6x44, which I like the format. And yeah, definitely like it. It's a Corona Gorda though, but okay, let me see. In Cuban, 6x44, that's more of a Lonsdale, I believe. Let's see here. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. 6.5 by 42. Of course. Yeah, Corona Gorda. Oh, I got that really good. Well, you can go into here too. Packaging. No, cigars. Cigar sizes. There we go. Oh, wow. That's good to know. Oh, that is really good to know. Hey, what's up, Jose? Oh, I can start smoking my cigar now. That's good. Yeah, I was just like rabbit holing cigar sizes, and then I just found on the Cuban Cigar website there's Cigar Weights, which I had a hard time looking that up, and now it's going to be quite easy. It's going to be awesome for cigar weights. So you can weigh them on the scale, and you can measure them. How you doing, man? Can you hear me okay? It's like a nice dark brown. Ooh, nice dark brown oily wrapper. Wow. And it's got... Well, this doesn't have a closed foot on it. Some of the ones I've been smoking have a closed foot on them. It's got a little pigtail on here. This one's kind of busted off. But I'm going to cut it off anyway. All right. I got it right on the first shot. I didn't have to do a bunch of futzing around with the microphone and crap like that. That's great. So the slideshow in the background is pictures of the box that I got here of this cigar. We're going to throw that up there. Make it look all purty and everything like that. Yeah, I haven't been on here in a while, done a live stream, so I figured I'd jump on, smoke a cigar, and chat a little bit with the folks, you folks out there. Ooh, kind of leathery. Well, Jose, it looks like it's just you and me, baby, on this wonderful Tuesday. It's almost noon here, 11:55. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I just got back from the hospital. My roommate had... He had a hernia. So because of the global pandemic and everything like that, it's super hard to get in and get any kind of a procedure done, especially if it's like kind of, they called it an unelective surgery. But I tell you, he had a giant grapefruit extruding out of his gut that was this big. And that was going on for like over a year. And he finally was able to go into the hospital. I took him to the hospital this past Thursday, and he went in there, and they had to anesthetize him, and when he got out of surgery, he had a reaction to the surgery, to the anesthesia. I mean, he didn't know where he was at, and all that kind of stuff, and they actually had to restrain him, because he was like pulling on all his stuff and everything like that, because he didn't know where he was at. So that was last Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and today's Tuesday, and I went in there today, so he's actually now able to have a conversation and talk and everything like that, which is good. So I think he's getting on the back side of this whole thing. So, but anyway, so I've been having to, I've been going to the hospital and just kind of checking in and seeing how he's doing with everything, and he's doing better. So I'm thinking probably by Thursday or Friday, he's gonna be out and back home. So, anywho, that's kind of what's going on with me. Hey, buddy. Well, there's 2 people that have logged in. That says 2 concurrent viewers. Weird. Oh well. It's a fickle thing, this YouTube studio. So, yeah, so I figured I got some time off here on Tuesday, and I figured I'd just come on here and say hey to everybody and all that kind of stuff. See how everybody was doing out there in Cigar Land. And me personally, I'm doing okay, but, having to take care of my roommate, and he's got 3 dogs that I have to take care of. So that's been, rewarding, I guess. Like a little bit of a hole there. Smoking okay, though. It's got like a bit of a pepperiness here in the beginning. Like, a lot of New World stuff. Very lingering in the nose. But, yeah, I kind of like these. I mean, these are actually, I think, stronger than the other ones that they had. Just, I don't know why. Maybe because of the thin ring gauge or whatever it is. These seem to have more oomph to them. But then once they get down into the cigar a bit, there's less of that, that oomph that I don't like from a New World cigar. And then it gets very pleasant smoking this thing. And these cigars aren't like terribly expensive, and I think the quality of these cigars, everybody judges a cigar on the way it looks and all that kind of stuff. And me personally, I just look at it, okay, does it produce a lot of smoke? Which it does. And does it burn good? And it does. And how does it taste? So, I mean, that's what I look at. I don't look at like, oh wow, it's a pretty cigar. And I mean, even though this is a very pretty cigar on the outside, but it's, I just think all in all, these things are a winner. All the way through, these cigars. And this one here, the Corona Gorda, I think I kind of like the best out of these signature series is the Corona Gorda. So I've been doing some cooking, and been trying to replicate Wolfgang Puck's poulet à la moutarde, which is a chicken with mustard. And so I got to go to the store later on today. I get more chicken. I've been like just doing it, trying to get it right. Because I mean, it's been turning out a little bit salty. And just not, with the ingredients that are in there, I think should taste a little bit different than what it's been tasting on there. So, yeah, there it is there. Alrighty. I know I always just kind of come on here and just kind of wing it. I don't really have a, I don't know. I don't have anything set up or anything like that. Just kind of leave it up to whoever's on there to ask questions or say how they're doing. Nothing staged. It is what it is. Check out the quality of my camera, which the camera's doing pretty good. That's good. 1080p. Yeah, still got that pepper in there. Nice bit of a little sweetness in there, but woo, okay. There's a lot of that pepper in there. My nose is lit up. Wow. Crazy town. Yeah, the other Aganorsa leaves don't have as much of this girthy pepper in there as this one does. This one, the thinner ring gauge, this thinner ring gauge cigar definitely has more. It's more girthy. Which you would think that the other ones would, right? A bigger cigar, more tobacco, but it seems to mellow out the cigar. When the bigger the cigar gets, the more it kind of mellows out. It's the smaller cigars you got to watch out for. And I was just reading something. I had a question about retrohaling. I can't seem to retro the way you do with lots of smoke output out from the nose. Do you have any tips? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just that for doing a retro, it's just, you know, you bring the smoke in your mouth and then you kind of push it out your nose. And I guess over the years, I've just learned to relax more, I guess, and trust in the fact that the smoke is not going to go the other way and it's going to go out the nose. And doing it that way. Another thing you can do too when you're going to go to retro, right? So you're going to be blowing out your nose, right? So what you can do is breathe in a little bit, right? Like that. Right? So when you breathe in, you take the smoke in your mouth, and then you got to breathe out. So the air going through your nose is going to pick up the smoke in your mouth, and then you kind of push it back with your tongue, and it's going to blast it out through your nose. I mean, that's as good as I can do with that on there with the tip on retroing on that thing. Because it's all a matter of just like being able to kind of push the smoke. Hey buddy, how you doing, man? Been liking your Instagram pics. Very nice. This guy, Smoking Preacher, man, his diversity in cigars is, I think, second to none. I mean, he hit as many cigars as you smoke of all different kinds. It's crazy. I'm always looking. It's like, oh, look at that one. Look at that one. Like, you've got so many cigars that you smoke all the time. It's great, right? And that's the whole thing, right? I mean, when you're smoking, you want to be diverse. I mean, I get it if you got like a certain go-to or whatever that you're going to go to and everything like that. I get it. I mean, there's certain ones that, you know, you're going to feel fond of and everything like that. But at the end of the day, I think it's better to investigate and be curious about stuff as opposed to just kind of saying, oh, well, I don't like it, and then not even trying it. Contempt prior to investigation, right? I mean, because you're going to smoke some clunkers out there. I just smoked a Jake Wyatt cigar. It's a LE, and it's the lithium, I think. Anyway, it had, like, the wrapper was, like, had Candela, and, like, there was, you know, Rosado, and Maduro, all, like, I mean, the cigar was very pretty. I mean, it would have won a 10 out of 10 for construction and prettiness on the cigar. I mean, basically, it was, and it looked like a Fuente BBMF. I believe all their tobacco is Dominican tobacco that they use and everything like that. But for me, that cigar it was super bitter and super, I mean, it just really didn't have a lot of flavor. Yep, yeah, I know. You never know when you're going to find a gem. Now, that was not a gem. And then I was at High Times Cellars. If you guys are in Southern California and you're down in the Orange County area, go to High Times Cellars. Sean Patrick is kind of like the guy. I think he's the manager of the Smoke Shack there. And, you know, he's really good at getting in all kinds of New World stuff in there. I mean, they're just packed full of stuff all the time. They even have these Aganorsa leaves there. And they have the Supreme Leaf Aganorsa leaf, which I did not like as much as this cigar. I prefer this cigar over the Supreme Leaf Aganorsa leaf. I do personally. But that's just me. I'm just some knucklehead with an opinion. But anyway, so these Jake White cigars, I guess they're a cigar shop down like in, I want to say Mission Viejo area, somewhere around there, Laguna Niguel, which is in Orange County. A couple of guys got together and decided to make cigars, and they used their sons' names, Jake and Wyatt, to make the brand. And the cigars are beautiful. I mean, they're very ornate, and they have, you know, the way that they do the cigars with the exterior of the cigar, it's awesome. But I mean, that one was, but that was kind of a limited edition. I guess maybe if they had the just a regular release of that, might be better. It's a Figurado too, so Figurado. No, it's not a Figurado. It's, oh God, it's not a Figurado. It's the other one. I'm having a brain fart right now. Total brain fart. Someone can help me out on that. It is a Figurado. Okay. I'm losing it today. It is a Figurado. So, and I am terrible at lighting those things up. Terrible. Perfecto. Thank you. Perfecto. I'm Perfecto challenged. Obviously, I'm Perfecto challenged. But it looks like a BBMF, basically, this cigar. And they have the LE, which is the one Sean gave me. And then they have the regular release of that, which, you know, because to me, I think, even though I always say that wrapper doesn't really contribute a lot to the cigar, I think that with there being so much, like, because I'm not a big fan of Candela, first of all, because to me, it's kind of bitter. And the cigar was extremely bitter. And I just think the mix with the Candela and the Rosado and the Maduro on there was like, just too much. Just too much. Actually, oh shoot. I unhooked my phone. I know what I can do. You guys can check this out. Okay. That's not doing it. Oh, that's a better picture. You can see it's just the Candela and the Rosado. So there's like a lot of Candela and Rosado in there, but it looks like a BBMF. I mean, it's got that, the tip on there, and it's got this part right here on there, which is, just like a BBMF, for sure. So, but I wasn't that crazy about the cigar, and but that's okay. Doesn't mean it's a bad cigar. It just means that I don't prefer to smoke that cigar, right? So it is what it is. I do like to smoke these cigars, though. Definitely like these. Yeah, they're kind of sweet. Kind of got like a little bit of a chocolatiness in there, I'd say. There's some little bit of cedar in there too. The finish on the palate is it's a bit long on here. It's a bit lingering. And it's pretty much down the middle, though. Like, it's how, you know how certain tobaccos will do where you'll get like on the sides of your mouth here will get like saliva and everything like that, or you'll get something down the center of the mouth, and that's all like part of the tobacco. Like, certain tobaccos will affect your palate differently. On there, I was reading a thing with Henke Kellner from Davidoff, and he was talking about what Piloto, Olor, and San Vicente was the three different styles of tobacco that he uses, and they have different characteristics that they do on your palate for this. And so, but this one seems to be more the Aganorsa. I think might be like, what is it, the Criollo is the one that does more in the center of the tongue, as opposed to the Criollo 98 and the Corojo 99 are different. The Corojo is on the sides. It does that on the sides, and the Criollo 98 is down the center. This is more like down the center. I don't know. Hey, Caldwell Eastern Standard. Yeah. Definitely. That's another guy that puts out some good stuff. Definitely. I like Robert Caldwell's stuff. And I always talk about Dion Giolito's stuff, the Illusione stuff that he puts out. If you follow him on Instagram too, he's really Dion Giolito he's starting to do these little like 60-second videos talking about the different vitolas that he does from all of his series of cigars, and it's really cool because he'll talk about like what the way he blended it. Basically, he'll say, I made this cigar to taste like this and be like this, and so on and so forth. And it's kind of nice because you're actually getting in the head of the guy who's blending the cigar, right? And he's telling you, like, I blended the cigar to taste like this, and it tastes like this for me. Now, it might not taste like that for you, or you might have a different descriptor for what he is saying for his blend. And that's what I think throws a lot of people off too, as well, is the fact that we might taste the same thing, like a rose. Okay, everybody knows a rose smells like a rose smells like a rose, right? But I mean, if we didn't know that rose scent, we might call it lilac, or we might call it whatever. And that's what I'm saying, is that I think when you have a lot of people out there that are doing cigar reviews and talking about flavors and tastes and all that other kind of stuff, it can be kind of confusing because it's within their point of reference, my point of reference, right? Where it's floral or whatever. And that's why I try and keep things simple with the descriptors and the tasting notes that I have, because I think the simpler it is, the better it is. When you start getting into the minutia of a lot of tasting notes and everything like that, I think that a lot of people, you're going to lose some people because they're not going to taste that necessarily, right? So I try and keep it, for my personal way that I do tasting notes, is like the basic descriptors out there, as basic as I can do it, and as simple as I can do it, because it's easier in my mind anyway, first of all. And then second of all, it might get someone closer to actually tasting or experiencing what I'm experiencing. And so I think when you start doing, going with these crazy ass descriptors on stuff, it's just too much. I mean, I appreciate the fact that people go out there, that they get into the minutia of that stuff, but I don't think that it helps a lot of people out there in the sense of like, and it might seem a little pretentious, even though they might be experiencing popcorn and coconut water or whatever it is, you know what I mean? They might be experiencing that on their palate, but I think that a majority of people out there are not going to experience popcorn and coconut water. They're going to experience maybe a nuttiness with a slight sweetness in there, right? And so, anyway, that's why when I do descriptors and stuff like that, I try and keep it simple. And Dion, I'm rolling back to Dion Giolito, and Dion is the same way. He's very simple with his descriptors in there, and he just does a basic rundown in the video of the cigars that he's doing, and I think it's brilliant. I really do. I just think it's like you're getting in the head. Here's a guy, he's blending this stuff up for you to smoke, and he's telling you, like, this is why I did this such and such and such, which is great. I probably went out. Yes, because I'm blabbering. So, anyway, I know, because I've had a few people actually say to me, like, well, it's just, I wish you did more. And the reason I don't do more, and the reason I try and keep it simple, is because of that sheer fact. I want to just get the basics and let everybody else determine or whatever what it is going forward. Anyway, I guess I'm not trying to preach. I'm just giving you my point of view, right, so to speak. That's it. And I'm not saying that my point of view is right. I'm saying it's my point of view on it. And so, and that's what I've always tried to be, in the cigar community, right? Because it's the cigar community is more, I'd like it to be inclusive as opposed to exclusive, right? And being inclusive with things, people tend to get along, and people tend to maybe agree more, or there's more input when you're inclusive as opposed to exclusive, where when you have exclusivity, you're kind of over in one area over here, and you're not, you just basically have that thought process or whatever it is over there, and you're not really, I don't know, sharing, I guess. Being inclusive, it's more like sharing, and this is all about sharing and stuff like that. So, anyway. So yeah, the pepper's gone now, which is good. And it's kind of weird, because I actually, Dion was doing something with the Grand Class Rex, which he had a little story about that. There's a guy named Rex who's a gold miner, and the reason that the little Grand Class Rex is like a little gold brick is because it's an homage to his friend Rex, which he blended and made that cigar for Rex, right? But the Grand Class Rex is the same thing as this, right? It's a small ring gauge cigar. You light it up, you get just a blast in your nose of pepper in the beginning, and then it mellows out, and then it just like becomes a kind of a flavor bomb in there, right? And it's a very sweet cigar to me, I think, personally. It's a very nice sweet cigar. This one here is more on the savory side, right? I mean, there is a bit of a sweetness in there, but it's more of a savory cigar, and definitely it's a nice finish on the palate. It's definitely a medium plus to full finish on the palate on here. And I don't know. Like I said, I always like the small ring gauge cigars. I was reading something else too, how a few blenders have said this, the fact that you would think that a smaller ring gauge cigar would have less flavor, less oomph to it than a larger ring gauge cigar, but a lot of them say that's not the case, that the smaller ring gauge cigars, the ones that have that kind of bigger flavor to it. And I tend to agree with that. Yeah, definitely it's more savory, though, than the Illusione, the Grand Class Rex. Very savory. Kind of like an herbiness that's coming up on the palate right now. Definitely a bit of tobacco on there. And the retro is it's a bit woody. But there's another note in there too that I'm trying to put a finger on in a generic kind of way. Robert Caldwell. He doesn't like smoking his own personal taste, at least I've seen in interviews with him, with Robert Caldwell. He doesn't like a cigar to blast his face off either. He likes more of a, let's just say a delicate cigar. Like something that's a little more nuanced, not so hit you in the face strong and everything like that. And I think that shows on some of his stuff where he has that, where it's it's, I don't know, more refined, or I don't know what you want to say, more nuanced. Just nuanced is the kind of the more, I think, proper terminology for that, where it's not, it's just, well, complex too, a little more complex, where you're gonna have all this stuff in here and it's just not going to be like full frontal assault. Now Steve Saka, at least the interviews that I've seen with him, he uses a younger tobacco with less age on it. And he's going for that more strong, hit you in the face kind of stuff. And with this, a lot of the people smoking cigars out there now, his, the Sin Compromiso and the Muestra de Saka, those cigars I think are doing really well in the cigar community right now, I think. Now, are they my cup of tea? Not so much. I like the Sobra Mesa. As far as it goes for his stuff, I think the Sobra Mesa is a great cigar. The other stuff is just a little bit way too strong for me. But that's just my own palate, my own flavor that I like, right? And there's a lot of people out there that are different. Yep. Yeah. But and I always circle back to this though. I just think that just because cigars are getting so expensive. I mean, it used to be, you get a cigar. This is way back before my time though, but you get a cigar for a nickel, right? A quarter, 50 cents, $1. $1.50 was like a good, really, and then it went up from there. And there's a lot of guys out there that remember those, like the $2 and $3 cigars, right, out there that are, were there. Then we had a cigar boom and the cigar prices went up. And now, when you get a cigar, you're looking anywhere, if you're going to get something that's of some sort of quality or anything like that, you're looking about $8 for a cigar, I think. Between like $7 and $10 for a cigar. Okay. $7-10 for a cigar, that's that's a bit of change. That's that's some money in there. So I think though that so if you're going to pay $10 for a cigar, I think actually Saka stuff is more than that. Those other ones, the Muestra de Saka and the Sin Compromiso is like more than 10. But my point is that if you're spending that much on a cigar, people want to get a lot of bang for their buck. And so if it's a big round cigar, got a lot of tobacco in it, and it really hits you in the face, I think people are satisfied with that. And they're like, all right, I can pay $8 for a cigar like that, or $10 for a cigar like that, or even $15 for a cigar like that, is what I think. And so, the manufacturers of these brands, that's what they're doing, right? They're they're pleasing the public. They're catering to the public. What the people want, they're going to give them what the people want. And they're not like me, I guess. Which, I want something like this that's going to have lots of flavor in there, and hey, it might last an hour and a half, right? Okay, I'm happy with that. How's it going, man? Now, one thing I have noticed about these cigars, though, is that when they get further down, at least the bigger ones, this one, maybe not so much, maybe because I'm talking too right now, but the bigger ring gauge of this signature selection, they tend to lose their smokiness like about halfway through, and it becomes more of a struggle to pull smoke out of the cigar, which I don't understand. I don't know why that's happening. And so you get less smoke production on the bigger ring gauge ones. These ones haven't been so much, but kind of lost some smoke there. Yeah. There is a little bit more of a sweetness developing in there, but it's still very, I just want to say savory. We're just going to go with a savory. It's more savory, definitely. It's not in the realm of like a Fuente, where a Fuente can be really sweet. Like you can, like on certain Fuentes, it's almost like raisins, right? Or cinnamon, like really that kind of baking spice with the sweetness, sweet fruit in there. Yeah, this is more savory, more herbaceous, has a little bit of a leatheriness to it, and it's a bit woody. And there's a sweetness in there, though, that there is a sweetness that does come through. It's not like a caramel or a toasted caramel or anything like that sweetness. It's almost like a bit of a sugary sweetness in there. Like it just kind of comes in and out when you retro this thing. It's there, but the cigar is more savory than sweet, definitely. Probably 80-20 or 90-10 as far as it goes for sweetness on the cigar. Definitely the lingering on the palate. It's the finish on the palate is definitely a bit oily on there, and it's lingering, and it's kind of like coating my whole tongue. I mean, sometimes you get a cigar where it just coats your whole mouth, right? The roof of your mouth is like an oil slick along with your tongue and everything like that, and it feels like if your tongue wasn't attached, it would just like slip right out of your mouth. It gets so oily. This is not like that. That my tongue has got a bit of an oiliness to it, but it's not. But I'd say it's a full finish on the cigar, though. Definitely, I'm still tasting it, and it's still there, and it's still lingering. So yeah, I had a conversation with Minron Nee yesterday. I talked with him on the phone, and he's doing okay. We didn't really talk about the book. We just kind of talked about stuff that I'm not going to discuss here, but we had a nice chat. We talked for about an hour and a half, and like I've said in previous mentions of Minron Nee, a lot of the stuff we talk about is not cigars, and we just talk about stuff. I mean, it's like you're talking with your friend, He's my friend. So we talk about stuff that friends talk about and not necessarily about cigars, right? And so, but yeah, he's doing okay, and didn't really discuss the book. Yeah, you know what? This one, definitely, you could do an after dinner on this cigar. Definitely. I would say you could probably complement this one with like a port wine. I'm just saying that it probably would be, if you drank a port wine with this cigar, because this is such a savory cigar the flavors would complement one another. And port doesn't have a lot of alcohol in it, where it's going to totally blunt your senses on there, and it has a little bit of acidity to it as well. So would help to kind of balance that palate on there with this cigar. But yeah, after dinner, definitely with a port, I think this cigar would go really well with that. That's my own personal opinion. It's going okay with a Coke too. But the ash hangs on pretty well on this cigar. It's not too bad with the construction and everything like that. Although the ash does kick off pretty easy, you got to go, like I had it, about 3/4 of an inch, and kicked it off, because it'll fall off in your lap if you're not careful with this cigar. But all in all, a decent smoking experience, I think, for this cigar, for sure. And it lasts me probably about, how long has this been? "46 minutes. So this cigar is probably going to last, I don't know, probably about an hour and 15, hour 20, somewhere around there. I'm smoking a bit fast today on this cigar. I am smoking a little fast, but I'd say, yeah, probably about an hour and 20, maybe an hour and a half. If I'm smoking slower, it'd be more like about an hour and a half for this cigar, I think. If I'm just sitting here, just enjoying it. When I start talking and all that kind of stuff, I start to smoke a little bit faster with the cigar. And that's why, too, with cigars are definitely a social thing, but if you're really going to kind of get into it or experience a cigar, you kind of want to go off and just be by yourself and really try and experience everything that's in the cigar on your own. That's what I find, is that when I'm, when I was doing the Smoking Gorilla Lounge with Eric, and we were doing the cigars there, we'd buy like 2 or 3 of the cigars, and we'd sit in just a dark room and smoke one, and then smoke another one, and then the third one we would do on camera, and just kind of experience that cigar. And it's good, maybe one other person or a couple other people, but there's nothing around to distract you. We would just sit there, no TV, no phones, no anything, and just sit in a room and smoke the cigar and just really kind of concentrate on what we were smoking on there. And that, that to me, I think is, the best way to really ascertain and kind of experience the cigar and get the most out of it. When you're with friends and everything like that, and you're smoking and you're chatting and stuff, it's a lot different. You're not concentrating on the cigar, you're concentrating on the conversation and what everybody's saying and your input into the conversation and so on and so forth. So it's a lot different than if you're by yourself, or maybe with 1 or 2 other people doing that. But yeah, these are 2 years old. you can see in the pictures that I'm doing in the slideshow that these were rolled in 3 of 19. There it is, right there, 3 of 19, where these were put in the box, I believe. And then I don't know how long they aged the tobacco on top of that, but yeah. Recommend this one. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Taking some personal time? It's late over there, man. Oh, it's only 10:30? Okay. Yeah, that's why I try and do this like around 11ish. Try and get to where people are not. It's too late for everybody over there. You in front of your computer smoking a cigar, Paul? Must be getting a lot of lag today. Another thing I like about these cigars is the band comes right off. I don't know about you guys, but how many Romacraft cigars you guys have smoked, but I have destroyed some of those Romacraft cigars trying to get that stupid band off there. I mean, they glue that thing down like... They say it's an anti-counterfeiting technique, but I'm just like, God, you got to do something about that. Because it's crazy trying to get the bands off some of those cigars. I mean, it's crazy. And the Fuente bands, what I've noticed about the Fuente bands is the fact that sometimes they'll glue the band to the wrapper, and their wrapper is not always, excuse me, all that thick. So you'll be smoking a Fuente cigar, and you know, you'll pull the wrapper right off with the band. So on a Fuente, I'll usually try and smoke it like right down to the band and make sure that if I'm going to pull the wrapper off of the cigar, at least it's going to be down toward the end of the cigar where it's going to get all screwed up, as opposed to, you know, pulling it off right away. Yeah. I'm only doing one cigar today. So I'm about halfway. It looks like halfway on this cigar. So yeah, gonna just smoke the one cigar today. Put up the little slideshow with it. Yeah, let me know how that is. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, those cigars were like super, super strong. And yeah, that Le Bijou, I really didn't like that Le Bijou all that much. So yeah, that was but with the, you know, it is what it is, right? I mean, cigars are all, you know, they're personal, right? It's a personal experience, and so for you to get some kind of a consensus on somebody, you're going to have, some people are going to say it's great, some people are going to say, yeah, some people are going to go, well, you know, it's not that bad. So, yeah. So drop me a line. Let me know what you think about that cigar. I think I've smoked a couple more since then, and same thing for me. Just not all that. But they definitely needed some time. I mean, those cigars were, what I can remember from it was like quite bitter. There was a heavy bitterness on that cigar, which to me means if a cigar is as bitter as that is, it needs time. And it's tannic, so if you age a cigar, it's going to wick out a lot of that stuff in there. And that maybe, you know what, the LE Lithium, that one that I showed you guys earlier that looked like the BBMF, and that might be a case of that too, although it might be a combination of that Candela with the with time on there as well. I don't know how long they age their tobacco. I don't know anything about it. I just know what my experience was with that cigar. I'm going to smoke the second one. It's a what was that? I forget. It's got some, they do funky names on their cigars, the Jake Wyatt people. They do funky names on their cigars. I forget what it is, but it's another limited edition, and it's more of a like a Corona or a, well, it's almost like this size here. Like maybe let's just go with Corona Gorda. Maybe a little bit thicker ring gauge, almost a Churchill size on there, I think. And it's box pressed, I think. Box pressed. Yeah. So. Well, talked about him. And this cigar's smoking nicely. Haven't had to relight it or touch it up or anything like that, which is good. You definitely don't want to run on your cigar. But I mean, as far as, yeah, you want the cigar. I mean, construction does count, right? But appearance, I mean, to me, appearance, I don't know. For me, appearance on a cigar should not factor in that much for rating on a cigar. Yes. Yeah, these cigars they're nice. I like them. I like these the best, though. These seem to smoke the best so far at all the ones I've smoked. Maybe it's the age on them. I don't know. I mean, it's got 2 years on it. Yeah, but to me, I mean, appearance on a cigar, I don't know. That's just my own peccadillos or whatever that, you know, when I'm thinking of a cigar and rating a cigar or whatever it is. I'm not concerned about the appearance of a cigar. Because by looking at this, I mean, maybe it's a mental thing too. Like if you're looking at, like, because Davidoff, right? Davidoff cigars, right? I mean, they're beautiful cigars. Those are beautiful cigars. They all smoke pretty good, right? Now the flavors to me on Davidoffs, I don't get that impressed. And I'm not talking Cuban Davidoffs. I'm just talking about the regular Dominican Davidoff cigars. I don't really get it. I don't understand it, but that's just me. And you're paying a premium on a Davidoff cigar. And so, to me, it's not, I don't know. I like the stuff that the Nicaraguan stuff that they're doing. I think what the late hour stuff has Nicaraguan in it or something like that. And those cigars seem to have a little bit better flavor for me. I think it's the late hour stuff. I'm not sure. But I do like the late hour. I like those. But once again, I'm paying, what, $30 for a late hour? And as opposed to, I can get two $15 cigars that I think have much better bang for my buck. Once again, I'm going to that bang for the buck thing, right? And so, I mean, personally, I don't get it. But I just think that, well, maybe it's just because I'm just a knucklehead and I dress in t-shirts and shorts and when I'm not in a uniform and stuff like that. And I'm not part of that whole luxury lifestyle, whatever it is, and so on and so forth. And so I don't get it, right? And I probably never will get it. There's a lot of people that are going, you don't get it. That's fine, because I don't. I'll smoke Davidoffs, though. I mean, now the Cuban Davidoffs, that's a different thing with me. And Cuban Davidoffs, I'm not interested. If I never smoke another Cuban Davidoff the rest of my life, I would not feel like I have missed out on anything, because I've smoked enough Cuban Davidoffs for me, for my taste and my palate, to where it's like that to me is one of the biggest wastes of money out there. I mean, if you're a collector and you're collecting Cuban Davidoff, like full boxes and stuff like that, I get it, because you want your collection and you're going to have a huge collection, and that's another thing that people do, and they collect cigars. But for me personally, smoking them, I'll put my money elsewhere. Because I've had people offer me Cuban Davidoffs lately, and I've just said, nah, no thanks. I'm good. Now, Dunhill, that's another story altogether. Dunhill those are crazy expensive cigars, but they are crazy good still to this day. Those Cuban Dunhills. Even the Don Candidos, I mean, goddamn. Those Don Candidos were looking about, what, coming up on 50 years old for some of those Don Candidos. 60 years old. That's a different story altogether. But the Dunhills that were manufactured roughly from what, 84? I mean, I think technically their license was from 84 to 91, but I don't think they manufactured much of them past 86 or 87, as rumor would have it. So you have a very, very limited supply of Cuban Dunhills. And the way that they blended those cigars and the way that the tobacco was on those cigars, I mean, that is like crazy good. But crazy expensive. My girlfriend drinks a lot of wine. And we used to go to a wine shop, and the guy there at the wine shop, we befriended one of the guys there, and he was saying, hey, if I, had like unlimited money, blah, 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 because they have bottles of wine out there, they're like, well, let's just go with $15,000 for a bottle of wine, right? And he was saying that he would buy 10 bottles of the $1,500 bottle of wine, because the percentage of gain that you're going to get for that extra, $13,500 is so minimal that it's a very heavy diminishing return. So he would go more with he would say he'd buy 10 bottles of the $1,500 bottle of wine as opposed to the one bottle of $15,000 wine, even if he had unlimited money. Because the diminishing returns on that is just so so minimal. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. So yeah, your law of diminishing returns is way way less. So, but that's why we have so many different cigars, and that's why there's so many different cigar manufacturers out there that are doing stuff, because there's so many different tastes and so many different profiles that people like out there. So I think the cigar business is going to be doing quite well for quite a while, and I think that I think it's just gonna keep going. I think with social media and everything like that, and it's more of a, because cigars are more of a kind of a lifestyle thing, a kind of a brother and sisterhood thing, right? Where men and women get together. More women are getting into cigars, which is great, and I think that it's become so social that it's growing. I think, definitely. I think we've been in a cigar boom for the past, God, roughly 20 years, I think. And social media, I think, has been a big proponent in pushing that kind of a lifestyle kind of a thing, to where people are more, and I think it's made it more approachable too. I think that, back in the day, it was more of a kind of a thing where it was very luxury lifestyle thing, where if you had a lot of money, it puts a picture in my head of a guy with lighting $100 bill and lighting a cigar with it, right? It was more like that. And now it's kind of become more of, like I said, more social and more inclusive as opposed to exclusive. And I think that that's been one of the good things that social media has done, has made cigars more of an inclusive thing, to where it's like, hey, you don't have to have a 6, 7, 8 figure income to enjoy a cigar, right? You don't have to do that. So I really appreciate that aspect of social media, doing that for people out there and making it more inclusive. And I think that the information out there too, because of the internet and being online and stuff like that, more people out there disseminating information, people have that information. If they were going to get into cigars and start smoking cigars, it's easier to get that information. And because face it, I mean, you walk into a lounge for the first time or second, third time or whatever, you walk into a cigar lounge, it can be a bit intimidating, right? You're going in there, usually like the guy at the counter, you go to walk in the humidor, he's like, oh, or he'll walk in with you in the humidor and he'll start asking you a bunch of questions, right? And it's like, you don't know what, you're like, I don't know. And so you kind of get maybe pushed into something that you smoke, and the guy or gal or whoever's, in the charge of the humidor or whatever, doesn't steer you in the right direction, and then it's off-putting. Whereas you can kind of investigate things online and kind of see what you might like on there, and then try things out, and then you can go into a lounge and go in the humidor and then just kind of pick stuff out and then smoke it, and it's a less intimidating experience. And then you can sit down with people and basically talk with them, and it's a lot more of a inclusive, gratifying experience as opposed to kind of being intimidated. So I think that that's been another good thing with the internet, disseminating all that information out there, and people just having more information so where they can make better decisions on things, which is good. Well, whiskey, god dang, man. I mean, some of that stuff out there. I've talked about Emmanuel Drung, who's in Singapore at the Old Alliance. I mean, I guess he's got, I don't know, thousands of pours up on his shelves there. I mean, yeah, you can go from a $10 pour to like probably a $10,000 pour for his whiskeys. He's a Scotch guy. What's going on, Chad? And so, yeah, whiskey. I mean, bourbon was like kind of like the everyman's kind of pour, and even that's right. That's getting pretty expensive. I mean, you got stuff that's out there. We've discussed this on the live stream before, where it's all right. You're back in Texas. Okay, good one. But like, you know, we discussed some of the stuff out there, and it's like thousands of dollars for a bottle because they age it for 21 years or whatever it is in the cask. It's very exclusive. What do you in? I mean, some of the bourbons out there that used to be like $20, now they're like $45 to $60 for a bottle of bourbon. Which, you know, the price has gone up on that stuff. Nothing ever seems to go down. Well, except electronics, right? Electronics seem to be really expensive, and then they go down in price. But, like, disposable items or stuff that you... consumer items like this seem to always go up. Never go down. Hey, there's another guy in Texas. Another guy, another Texas guy. Got the state of Texas represented now. Yeah, Quintero. You know, another good one, though, that I've found. The new blend of Vagueros is a good, to me, it's a good blend. And it's a short cigar, and it's yeah. RJ Tubo, right on. Way to go. But Vagueros are another one. And I've had all three. I have a tendency to like the Entretiempo. I want to get a hold of some Centrofinos and see what that's like. A regular Robusto. I mean, they've gone bigger. Like the other Vagueros are very small. It's probably about a 45-minute smoke. Some people a half hour. Some people maybe an hour or a little longer than an hour for that smoke, depending on how fast a smoker you are. But I think the blend on those things are great. I pick up some coffee notes in those cigars, which is really nice. And to me, that it for the amount of money that you're going to pay for a Vaguero, it's a good smoke. Personally, I mean, that's my own personal opinion. The old Vagueros, like the back in the day, they were just way too light, and I don't think they've aged all that well either. And they've kind of, you know, like an old Vaguero from like the 90s or whatever it is your money would be better put elsewhere, I think, in the newer ones. And I think the new ones have the material in there and everything like that to make it a good smoke to age and to enjoy. And they're pretty enjoyable right out of the tin, or right out of the... I would suggest getting them in the tins as opposed to getting them in the cardboard packs, personally. There's something about, like, you know, and a tin is almost like a jar. Like, the jars to me are the best for aging stuff. I mean, it takes a long time to age stuff in jars. And to me, the jars are good. But Rafael Gonzalez is another one that's just, like, totally under the radar. You know, Rafael Gonzalez, people don't really smoke a lot of them. I like Rafael Gonzalez. I think it's a good stick. And I don't think you can go wrong with that. It's not going to be like a heavy hit you in the face. A number 5. Right on. Yeah. Oh, targeting bundles, huh? Okay. But the Rafael Gonzalez marca is a good marca. I mean, even the, I mean, and the Rafael Gonzalez, like the Lonsdale, those ones, I mean, god dang, man, that's such a good cigar. It's, and they're not going to set you back a lot. People that, you know, it's the same thing as Sancho Panza. It's just not a cigar that people really gravitate toward. So, yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Rafael Gonzalez is good, I think. Yeah, because a lot of that stuff, I mean, it's just been going up so much. I mean, you know, you got your global brands, your global Cuban brands that are just like kind of going through the roof along with all the other stuff on the market. I mean, it's good. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, the global brands, Cohiba, Monte Cristo, Upman, Cohiba, Monte Cristo, Upman, R&J, and Partagas are all good brands, but they're tending to get more and more expensive. Most definitely. And you know, you could find some gems in there on the other marcas that are kind of under the radar, and Rafa Gonzalez is one of them. Like I said, the Vagueros, you should check them out. I would say check out the Entretiempo first, and the Mananitas and the Tapados are really small, and it's the Mananitas are like a little tiny petite bellicoso kind of a cigar. But yeah, punch, I'm not a big fan of punch. I mean, I've smoked some punches, you know, especially the aged punch, which they can be kind of woody, and then they get that kind of sweet woodiness as they age like 20, 30 years and stuff like that. I'm just not a big... And H. Upman too. H. Upman can be a bit bland to me, but you know, that's why they have all kinds of different marcas for stuff and everything like that. The one I want to smoke, as far as punch goes, that I haven't had a chance to smoke, you know, when you read in the Minron ebook, he talks about the Punch Super Selection number 2, which is supposed to be this insanely strong cigar back in the day when he was writing the book. And I would like to smoke a vintage punch, probably 3 of them, to get a really good take on that, if I could. But the Punch Super Selection number 2 is one that I definitely want to try. I mean, Punch, that's a good cigar. It's, you know, it is what it is, and that's one of their big selling ones. I mean, I think Punch, what is it? Punch is, the Punch. I don't want to get this wrong, that's why I'm doing this. Yeah, it's a Corona Gorda. So they used to have, before they started trimming down the lineup, it's a Corona Gorda, is what it is. And I believe they had 5 or 6 Corona Gordas. There's a Super Selection 11, Super Selection number 1, the Black Prince, the Punch, of course, the Super Selection number 2, were all Corona Gordas, right? So they trimmed down their lineup. I like the 50. I like the K-Dorsey 50 over the 54. But that's just me. I haven't tried their... they have another one out there too, the K-Dorsey, which I'd like to try the newer ones. Actually, I don't think that this one is new. I think this has been around the longest. They just redid the Corona Claro. That's been around forever. the 1974 release, but I'd like to see if they reblended that or that's kind of the same. And then a lot of people have been talking about the ones from the Senadores, which is a Hermosa number 2. It's a Grand Corona. That might be actually a pretty decent stick too as well from 2019. Price increase on Cubans, along with everything else, inflation, and they can get more money for Cubans now, right? I mean, they just can get more money, and Cuban tobacco is kind of like the tobacco that most of the world smokes. Now, when you're in America, it's different, but most of the world smokes Cuban cigars. And so you have like a perfect storm, I think. We've discussed this a few times in the past, where they're making less of the big bulky items like the cabs of 50 and even boxes of 25, right? As you get a cab of 50 with that tobacco, like let's just say Ojoyo Double Corona, right? So there's a lot of tobacco in there. So you could probably make 75 smaller cigars or 80 smaller cigars, put them in boxes of 10, charge more money for it, and you're going to make more money on the back end. So I think that that's kind of like what's happening, and then people are paying the price. They're paying for it, and it likens back to what I'm saying with the past 20 years of a cigar boom. The demand is there. So as long as the demand is there, they can raise the price and make more money. I mean, that's one of their main exports is cigars, right? I mean, that's what they do. They make rum, they make cigars. What else do they do? They used to export oil, but they don't anymore after the Soviet Union collapsed. And probably sugar would be another one. So, and they're actually doing charcoal. The Marabou, there's a really invasive plant there called the Marabou, and they've found a way to turn that into charcoal. And so they're exporting charcoal made from the Marabou plant there as well. So, I mean, if that's all you can do, and then tourism, right? Tourism coming in there, then you got to get what you can get for what you got. So, and as long as the demand's there, they're going to keep raising the prices on cigars until they can't. And it's the forbidden fruit in America. I think America is importing a lot of Cuban cigars through the gray market, and so I think that that's also driven up the price as well. Hey Sam, what about the non-Cuban cigars though? Those are cheaper, right, in the UK? So I guess maybe a lot of people are maybe going over to. And I've seen what Mitchell Orchant's been doing a lot of stuff. I think he just did I think he actually just did a Davidoff orchard selection here. He's doing some tasting on that. But how are the prices for the non-Cuban stuff? They're cheaper, right? My first touch-up on this thing. £20 for a Liga 9. You like Ligas, Sam? I'm not a big fan of Liga Privada. personally. But the L40, I did a review on the L40. I thought the L40 is probably the best Liga out there. But that's about it. Most of the Ligas I just don't like at all. And actually, I did I kind of went back and revisited the Ligas a little bit, and it was still the same. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Liga. It's too much. It's just too... Yeah. That's just my own personal, though. Doesn't mean it's a bad cigar. This means I don't like it. Yeah, chat, you know, that's funny because, like, the Flying Pig, when I was living in New York City, I used to go to the Davidoff shop on Columbus Circle, and these guys, they had just gotten the Flying Pig in there when the Flying Pig first came out. And, man, these guys were going crazy for that cigar, the Flying Pig. And so, yeah. I mean, there was a story where, like, every cigar's... Well, it had a story to it, but yeah, they were going crazy over that cigar, and yeah, it was okay. Wasn't one of my favorites, but that's okay. Wow, got a crack. So one cigar, that was the Liga was your first cigar ever? That was your first Liga or your first cigar? Yeah, you know, and that's another thing too, is like the 1000 series Padrones, I tend to enjoy those more than, say, some of the more expensive Padrones out there that are quite pricey. It can be quite pricey. Oh my God! Did you get sick? I mean, you smoked the T52 Flying Pig. That was your first cigar ever, and you. How was the experience? I mean, that's that's a pretty good one, man. That wasn't my first cigar, but I can just imagine, man, that's a... Got a little woozy toward the end there? Maybe a little dizzy? Yeah, a little sick. Yeah. Oh, man, yeah. Oh, God. I can just imagine. I can just imagine. That must have been something. Wow. Well, you did it. And now, you've been initiated. I think everybody has gotten nauseous at one point in time. That's part of the initiation. Especially if you haven't eaten something. Man, that's always brutal. It's always good to have like a nice little piece of chocolate or something like that. I got these handy. Little Linders. Those Those seem to fit the bill. They got dark chocolate ones too. And dark chocolate, actually dark chocolate is a good thing to do to kind of clear the palate out as well. Definitely a good thing. Dark chocolate. And it'll get rid of that nausea. Ugh. Okay, well, it's been an hour and a half, but probably the first 10, so about an hour and 20 for this cigar so far. So, I don't know. That's a bit of a time commitment on a cigar, right? I mean, it's not huge 60 ring gauge cigar. 44 by 6. Not that bad. So those of you that don't know, I started that Smoking Vintage Cigars Facebook group. And if I haven't invited you already, let me see here. I wonder if I can do this. Yeah, I think I can. So those of you there we go. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, you can go over there and post, hey John, how's it going? It's going good over here. But yeah, just click on the link and go over there and ask to join the group, and I'll put you in the group. I think it's up to like a couple hundred members now. 248 members. So it's growing. But you don't have, I mean, it says Smoking Vintage Cigars, don't worry about it. If you're smoking anything, you know, well, if you're smoking any kind of cigar, let's just put it that way, and just post it in there, and there it is there on that. But don't sell anything. If you start putting links, I've got some people that are trying to sell stuff in there, like whatever. Don't do that. Don't put links to stuff or whatever. Just post your cigars, and if you have any questions about stuff on things, then do that. Well, you should attach your Facebook to your Crosby's Corner channel there, is what you should do. Get it all kind of linked in. This cigar's been pretty savory all the way up until the end here. The pepper's starting to come back a little bit though in the nose, and the wrapper's starting to crack. Cigars might be a little bit dry with that cracked wrapper. Actually, yeah. Yeah, St. Louis Ray is another one that, but that one, it's not as under the radar as you think. There's a lot of people out there that covet St. Louis Ray, and they, especially the Series A. The Series A has always been one that's been on the radar for people that really like that brand of cigar, that marca. And so when you find St. Louis Ray and you got some age on them, pick them up, because that's a good stick, and that's one of those ones that people don't talk about a lot. But I think that the reason they don't talk about them a lot is because they like them a lot and they don't want people buying them. K Dorsey. I mean, that's probably wrong, but let me see here. Let's put it in the phone. Let's see what the phone says. What did I do with my phone? Oh, there it is. Let's do old Google Translate. Go here. French. English. QUAI. Okay, you ready? Oh. Let me see here. No, English. Let's see here.
Quai d'Orsay. Quai d'Orsay.
There we go. Google Translate says it's Quai d'Orsay. So we're going to go with that, because I am French simplified. Ramon Ionis. There you go. I like that. Quai d'Orsay. Yeah, that's what I'm smoking now, the Corona Gorda. It's a good stick, man. I like the Corona Gorda the best out of all of them so far that I've smoked. Just does it for me. Good smoke production and good flavor to it. I like the Corona Gorda. And these ones here, well, you can see the slideshow right there. It says that these are 2 years old at the time of smoking it. So, yeah, these signature selections are a decent stick, I think. But that's my own personal opinion on it. But I definitely, yeah, I like this cigar. Yeah, it's nice just to be able to buy a box of something and just, smoke it. So you're burning, are you smoking something out there, Crosby? Is that why you're burning wood? Yeah. Yeah, I've been out of town. I'm on vacation right now. So I've been kind of hanging low, and we went up to visit my girlfriend's brother. Hung out with him for a few days, and then, like I said earlier, my roommate, I took him to the hospital last Thursday, and he had a reaction to the anesthesia, So I've been here taking care of the dogs at the house. And he's been in the hospital. I think he's going to get out Friday, is what I think is happening. But I went and visited him yesterday and today, as well as Friday. Yeah, just like died. It's excellent connection. It just stopped. Okay, that's weird. The old internet. Sorry about that. I'm on a wired connection too, so I don't know what's happening with that. Wow. Yeah, that's weird. It just kind of dropped off. Sorry about that. Nothing I could do about it. Maybe they're not liking me doing my stream. I don't know. Well, that's a bummer, Chad. You need to take some vacay days. Yeah, there we go. The guy in charge of the satellite went out for a cigar. Yeah, he just got back. He's back on the satellite. Definitely. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know how much these are going for. Let me see here. I think these are like $8. Let me see here. Signature selection. Yeah, they're about, these things go for about, let me see, it's saying here in Cigars International, box of 25 is $224. So that's about, what, $9 a stick, somewhere in there. And it's a good stick. It's good cigars here. That's like getting retail. I'm sure you guys know how to, you guys know how to pick up those crazy deals on these cigars. But as far as it goes for that, it's about $9 a stick. RJ number 2. Yeah. I haven't smoked a lot of RJs lately. I've got some, well, I do. I've been smoking a few here and there. Those are getting low, though. The Tubos. I like that cigar. Very pleasant cigar. When you mean you smoked it, right, Chad? You didn't, was it messed up? Agueros? Oh. Well, was it on the was it on the foot? Because if it's on the outside of the cigar, I mean, all right. Disclaimer here. First of all, I have smoked cigars that have had mold on them, and so as long as it's not on the foot of the cigar, I will wipe the mold off with a wet tissue paper and smoke it. Even inside it? It was inside the cigar? Holy cow. Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't smoke that. I mean, if it's all over the place inside the cigar, I'm not going to smoke a moldy cigar like that. But usually, you know, if you're checking your humidor and stuff like that, you can get that stuff before it, you know, gets too prevalent in there. And then turn your humidity down. Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's right. You were up north of ways and then you came back home. Yeah, that's a bummer. That always sucks. You might be getting some leakage in there though, because it's humid down there, right? Well, that's nice of you to do that. Kind of nice that you can just burn stuff down there too. Can't do that here in California. They'll come after you. Maybe in Idaho. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. You want it. Yeah, absolutely. These damn cigars, man. You're like a mistress. You got to keep one eye on them all the time. Nice. Yeah, I keep my humid. I don't go 69 on my humidor. I'm like down to 65. I do 65%, and sometimes I'll get down to 63. Between 63 and 65, it's okay. RJ Roy Petite Royales. Those like a half Corona. Yeah, it's like a half Corona. That's a quick one. Yeah. Yeah, that mold, man. You gotta be careful of that. But the stuff that I got in there in the one humidor that's like at 54 degrees, I don't seem to have any problems with that. It's when you start getting up in temperature, it seems to me when you start getting up in temperature and stuff like that, it starts to become a problem. And then your humidity on top of that as well. That's why you got to keep an eye on that crap all the time. Yeah, especially if you're gone for 100 days. Damn. But over 3 months. Yeah, the tubos, definitely. You can pull one. Like I did a documentation on some, what is it, Monty? I think they were the open master tubos, I think, is where I did the mold thing on there. And yeah, tubos seem to have a problem with the mold. I don't know why that is, but maybe it's just because it's super dark and super tight. I don't know. Now, I don't seem to have an issue when they're, when I'm doing a deep aging on stuff that's like at 54 degrees. That it doesn't seem to be as much of a problem. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, everyone, I am down to the nub here, so I'm going to sign off. I'm glad to hear that everybody's doing okay and enjoying their lives and all that kind of stuff. And so, with that, I think I have rambled on enough, and that's enough out of me for this time. And just keep looking. Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to try and keep doing Monday and Tuesday. I'm not sure how often, but I will definitely be doing it. So we'll talk to you guys later.